welcome you to the UN Global Compact Network Australia and to our open house. We are presenting to you on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation and pay our respects to elders past and present. If you like, please feel free to share your name, company, where you're joining from, and what you would like to learn more about today in the little chat window at the bottom. This presentation is for both existing participants of the UN Global Compact Network as well as for interested organizations. Next slide, please, Neha. Thank you. My name is Greta Wescott. I'm the Senior Manager Engagement at the UN Global Compact Network Australia, or UNGCNA. And with me on this call are Farah Dirgantoro, Engagement Coordinator, and Neha Nithin, Data Coordinator at the UNGCNA. For those of you who don't know us yet, please e-meet the team. We are 14 colleagues, with most of us being based in Melbourne, but we have a colleague in Sydney and a colleague in Hobart as well. And full disclosure, Farah is joining us from Indonesia this week, and Neha has just arrived in India. So we're truly international. Next slide, please. Okay, this is an open house. What is an open house without guests? And because we are meeting virtually, we have guest speakers. Otherwise, we would be serving you coffee. So we have two guest speakers joining us today. Jo Hynes, Director, Safety, Sustainability and Risk at Atlas Arteria, who will be speaking about her membership experience. And Lauren Devenish, Senior Finance Manager, External Reporting at Mirvac, who will be speaking about her experience with our Sustainability Reporting Community of Practice, or SRCOP in short, and from the perspective of being a Group 1 reporter. And next slide, please. Thank you, Neha. So today I'll briefly cover an overview of who we are, what we do, and the benefits of membership before we speak with Jo and Lauren. You can use the chat function at the bottom of your screen to ask questions and access the links to materials and events that Farah will be posting. We aim to have time for Q&As at the end. We never know. Feel free to add your questions to the chat box as we go, and we'll pick them up later. The session is being recorded, as I said before, and the slides, links, and recording will be shared with anyone who has registered. So even if you have to drop off earlier, you will receive a recording. So with that, let's get started. A quick recap of who we are and what we do. Next slide. Thanks, Neha. So 25 years ago, the then Secretary General Kofi Annan proposed to initiate a global compact of shared values and principles to give a human face to the global market. Today, the UN Global Compact is the world's largest corporate sustainability initiative, with 25,000 business participants globally and 390 here in Australia. Business today operates in a world defined by volatility, shifting regulation, political and geopolitical uncertainty, disrupted supply chains, rising expectations from investors, from customers, and from communities. So sustainability has moved from good to do to business critical, shaping strategy, capital access, competitiveness, and resilience. The UN Global Compact is the United Nations official platform for engaging the private sector. Through the UN Global Compact Network Australia, so us here in the country, your organization is part of a globally recognized, non-partisan, not-for-profit initiative that helps companies to turn responsible business principles into practical commercial outcomes. Next slide, please. Thank you. The principles at the heart of the UN Global Compact are human rights, labor, environment, and anti-corruption. The principles are a common ethical and practical framework for operationalizing corporate responsibility. They are derived from UN declarations and conventions, and they represent the fundamental values that business should embed in their daily strategies. And if you click again, Neha, then you can see that also the UN Global Compact has the mandate to deliver the private sector contribution to the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. This United Nations framework is a set of goals that articulate clearly what it is, what we mean by the world that we all want. They have a related deeper purpose for business. They represent aspirational long-term targets for business and other stakeholders to work together towards creating a more sustainable and equitable world. Next slide, please. Thank you. The UN Global Compact is how companies step up. It's the United Nations way of helping business turn values into action. What this means for you? It's UN-backed and locally relevant. We help you move beyond compliance and lead with credibility, resilience, and purpose. We are aligned with global priorities and connect business action to UN goals, positioning you as a principled leader in a volatile world. You can access practical support. We give you tools, networks, and opportunities to take meaningful action and make the business case for responsible leadership. Our role is to help you cut through complexity, manage risk, unlock opportunity, and shape the sustainable future. If there are gaps, you can work with us and utilize our offering. Where there is expertise, thought leadership, and leading practice within your business, we want to amplify your organization and collaborate. And that is regardless of size, location, business type, or sectors, as organizations can scale their action and contribute to advancing the goal. The tiles on this slide are the lead and shape areas where the business community can have a strong impact. We bundle these into 3 work streams: business and human rights, environment and climate change, and sustainability governance. To give you some examples of offerings and activities in each of these work streams, let's start with the business and human rights work stream, where we run, just go back one slide, thank you, we run a modern slavery community of practice for corporates and for SMEs. There's an implementing and an optimizing stream, depending on your self-assessed maturity in this space, and an SME stream. There's also an annual dialogue on business and human rights. This basically is a one-day conference for practitioners in charge of managing supply chains, grievance mechanisms, due diligence, modern slavery, and much, much more. In the environment and climate change work stream, a lot is going on. I don't think anyone is surprised by that comment. Our Sustainability Community of Practice, or SRCOP, is now available, and I'll speak to that in detail with Lauren. We also run a Climate Ambition Accelerator, which is a member-only cohort that meets online over a 6-month period to learn how to set a science-based target and get to net zero. Expressions of interest are now open for 2026. We also run networking events in Australia's major cities. It's a bit too early to confirm the exact 2026 dates yet, but we will add any networking events open to participants and prospects to our monthly bulletin and to our events page. So keep an eye on that. I think the link is going to be shared in a minute. Something that is very much being organized by the Environment and Climate Change team is our 2026 conference in Sydney, Uniting Business Life Australia. I have a separate slide for that a little bit later, but I just want to mention it right now. And for our sustainability governance workstream, we hold an annual dialogue as well for this workstream, with the last one just having taken place in October. In general, focus topics include national and international governance topics related to the Australian business community. So, for example, this year the focus was on critical minerals, green metals, and renewables, and it's usually legal, compliance, risk, procurement staff who attend, but that's not exclusive, obviously. We also offer greenwashing courses, both with a national focus as well as a course that takes international requirements into consideration. You have the option to attend open courses, so you liaise and get together with other organizations, or we can chat about closed cohorts for your organization only. Okay, with this overview, it might be a good time to welcome Jo Hynes, Director, Safety, Sustainability and Risk at Atlas Arteria, a member of the UN Global Compact for nearly 2 years now, believe it or not. Jo, a warm welcome to you, and thank you for joining us today. Great to have you
here. Greta.
With Atlas Arteria having utilized many UNGCNA offerings, you really are amazing participants. We would like to hear sort of how activities that you have participated in have assisted you and your team. But before we dive into the details, maybe we start at the beginning. Why did Atlas Arteria actually join the initiative?
Yeah, well, thank you. Atlas Arteria joined, as Greta says, about 2 years ago. And at the time, we were already doing a lot in sustainability, and we knew that we had interest in what we were doing for our investors. But sometimes it was hard to get the message out, if you like, and hard to know what you should be prioritising in terms of the messaging. And so by joining the UNGC, we were able to give that really clear message to our investors about our sustainability commitments, especially our human rights commitments. I think it's easy for people like investors to pick up a report and look at your emissions, for example, but human rights can be more difficult for them to look at. So being able to have that very outward, well-known, well-respected external organisation to commit to sent a really clear message and was able to sort of legitimise the work that we were doing behind the scenes and show that that was actually important to our business. And so that was really the driver for us, was being able to show our commitment externally.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Thank you for sharing that. And could you tell us a bit more about what the benefits are for you in your role specifically, and maybe the people in your team when you think of membership?
Yeah, well, one of the big things for us was that we we weren't using the SDG framework specifically internally. Like, we obviously were aware of the SDGs, but we weren't really sort of aligning to the framework. And one of the things that when we joined, we did go through the process, and for people who are new to the UNGC, they do have amazing resources. And one of those is a very clear explainer of how you can really align your business activities to the Sustainable Development Goals. And we went through a process of aligning ourselves, working out which goals were most relevant to our business and our investors in particular. And so we did a process of consultation that was really well received by our investors, because they really liked that they could then have input to that and drive where they thought the best value was for our company. And it was great for stakeholders, internal stakeholders as well, because it gave me a framework to say, here's the options available to us. Could get input from our businesses as to, well, here's the things where we think we can best align to the SDGs. And from that, together, we were able to set, our priority SDGs, our targets, our actions, our indicators. And now we have this well-recognised framework that external stakeholders can benchmark us against, and our internal stakeholders understand and can see that it's part of a bigger, broader picture that we're progressing together around the SDGs, and it makes sense for their business to do things. So it's been a really useful tool to help drive sustainable business practices against a well-known and well-respected framework.
Fantastic. That's really interesting. We often talk about the SDG framework as a bit of a gap analysis tool. So there's no pass or fail, but you can really utilize it as something that you look at and think, okay, where have we got an outsized impact on outcomes? Where can we actually move the dial? But again, there is no pass or fail. So some SDGs will not really be relevant to your organization. And it's just great to see the bigger picture and see what you can do, where you can action things, and see how they change over the years as well, given you're an international group as well. And maybe one last question for you, Jo. Across those 3 work streams that I mentioned in my previous slides, so business and human rights, environment and climate change, sustainability governance, are there any highlights or sort of specifically relevant events or offerings that you can talk about that are meaningful and valuable to you?
Tough to choose, Greta. As you say, Atlas Arteria is a very strong participant because I do actually find all of them valuable and useful. So we do make as much use of the resources available, of which there are lots, and events, of which there are lots. I find the networking events, so I think you said there's some in each capital city. I'm based in Melbourne, and I find them really useful because there's always a guest speaker, so you learn something, but they're great for networking. They're great for actually being able to chat with peers about what are you doing, how are you finding it, what are the challenges, how are you overcoming it, what consultants are you using, whatever the things are. But it's really great to get people together that are like-minded and are all facing the same issues as you, and you learn a lot even just from chatting. And so the networking events are fantastic. The other one that is really fantastic is the conference. So I attended the conference in Sydney in 2024. And again, some of that is the networking is really valuable, but the speakers are fantastic. And I would say that is a conference where, some of the conferences you go to are a bit more, an introduction to sustainability, if you like. And if you're a sustainability professional, that's not very helpful for you. But the UNGC conference is really useful. It assumes that people are all there because they're all sort of a similar mind and looking for the same sort of outcomes and looking for the same information to help them overcome the same challenges that they're experiencing. And so it really covers broad range of topics, certainly all of the three areas that, you've highlighted, but in a really sensitive, sensible, intelligent way that makes it really useful and valuable. So I felt that myself and a colleague who attended, we really took a lot away from the last conference.
Oh, fantastic! That is lovely to hear. Thank you, Jo. Thank you, Margie. Great to hear. It's fascinating also for me to hear in how many different ways our members integrate our offerings into their business. So there's really no template. It's never the same. So great to see that you're getting benefits out of this membership, you and your team. So thank you for joining us today, Jo, and for sharing this. And with that, something I really want to highlight today is our Sustainability Reporting Community of Practice, our SRCOP. And here is some more information about this offering. So firstly, this community of practice provides a collaborative and trusted environment where members can access insights, share challenges, and explore solutions to meet both mandatory and voluntary reporting requirements. Features of the SRCOP include regular live calls, so virtual sessions including substantive content sessions, major updates, peer learning sessions, open office hours to support your reporting needs. It is important to mention that the platform continues to be developed further too. As you know, this is a moving piece, and so we pick up what is relevant to you and provide that guidance by updating the platform. There's a resource library with curated resources related to sustainability reporting, organized by topic, also getting updated regularly. And there's a discussion forum, a secure online space to connect with peers, pose questions, share learnings, and sort of workshop challenges. UN Global Compact members get 2 free spots. So as part of your membership, you can access 2 free spots. If you are not a UNGCNA member, you can still subscribe to the SRCOP. And the annual subscription is, I think, $1,500 per spot. The next open office peer learning session is scheduled for the 10th of December, with a focus on open dialogue between participants and subject matter experts. Please note that you have to be a part of the SRCOP to join this session. So it's not like today's session, which is free for anyone to join. You have to be a participant and member of the SRCOP. So with that, let's have a chat to our next open house guest, Lauren Devenish, who is the Senior Finance Manager, External Reporting at Mirvac. So, Lauren, thank you so very much for joining us today, and great to have you on this webinar. You are participating in the SRCOP, and you're the Senior Finance Manager, and Mirvac is a Group 1 reporter. So it would be fantastic to hear about the benefits of the SR COP from you. And several sessions have been held by now. I think you've been actively participating in them. So I was wondering, when you reflect on the usefulness of the SR COP and being an active participant in the sessions, what are your insights when it comes to, let's say, the quality of the speakers?
Thanks, Greta. Hi, everyone. Just to maybe provide a bit more background on what Greta just said. So we're a Group 1 at Mirvac. So we're doing our first sort of mandatory climate report this year. So it's June 26th, where we'll report for the first time under S2. Just to answer, I guess, Greta's question, I think all the speakers have been great. I basically move, I guess, everything in my calendar and able to attend these sessions. So yeah, very, very helpful. But I might kind of give a little bit more information on the actual sessions that we have access to through our membership. And what I appreciate personally the most from these sessions is just actually being exposed to these sessions and having the opportunity to attend these. There's a few different types of sessions that we're able to go to. So there's, I think, monthly technical sessions that are run by subject matter experts. So some of the areas that have been covered recently is, I guess, scenario analysis, some of the technical areas of S2, such as scenario analysis, financial quantification, and then a session on assurance. So I guess very helpful sessions. We get to listen to get exposure to that specialist, and then at the end of it we can actually ask questions, which I think is very helpful as well. There's peer learning, I guess Greta touched on it, peer learning and open office sessions as well, which is a bit more informal, and you get to connect with, I guess, other people who are dealing with similar sort of implementation challenges, and you can kind of just chat through what you're finding and sort of learn from each other in a sort of more relaxed setting, let's say. So yeah, no, I really appreciate all the different types of sessions that are put on by the SR COP.
Fantastic. Thanks, Lauren. We actually know that background as well. I think that helps, attendees today to really understand where you're coming from and what you're trying to maybe get out of this. Is there anything, Lauren, that you personally found useful on the platform, given your role and your professional background, that you would like to highlight?
I would probably say the resources section that Greta mentioned earlier is probably my favourite part of the platform. I feel like there's a lot of guidance coming out at the moment, which is great. Like, we need it. It's like how to actually put S2 into practice is helpful. So the platform has S2 on there. It has greenhouse gas protocol. It has Big Four example disclosures. Basically everything, all the guidance that's out there at the market. I think the SR Corp is doing a good job at capturing and putting all in one place. I think, as Greta mentioned, it's updated regularly, which is also very helpful in order to keep on top of everything that's coming out. One aspect actually that I find really helpful is there's a monthly email that goes out from SR Corp that summarises what's happened in the last month. So it will summarise the sessions that's happened, but it also summarises what's been added onto the platform that month. So you can easily see what's been added, see what's new, and then go and find that on the platform. There's also actually on the platform there's a summary of each of the previous sessions that I mentioned. So it's sort of key takeaways from those subject matter expert sessions, which I think for any of the new members that are sort of considering joining SR COP, that would be really helpful as well, as it just covers, I guess, key takeaways from those meetings. So yeah, big fan of the platform.
Thanks so much, Lauren. Thank you kindly. It's really interesting how you just reflected on the helpfulness of something being repeated again after a little while, because there's so much happening all the time, and to just get it sort of summarized again and say, these are the key things. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm a big fan of that. I think that's extremely helpful, and you can just file it away and go back to it if you need it ever again. So Thank you. I appreciate your time and sharing your feedback and insights with us, Lauren. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With that, let's just jump to a slide that I talked about briefly earlier, not the slide, but the content. So it is important to mention as we see it anyway, the defining sustainability event of the year, giving leaders the opportunity to shape the future of business in Australia. So our conference, Uniting Business Life Australia, is returning to Sydney in May 2026 and will equip businesses to navigate ongoing socio-environmental and regulatory changes This is the conference that Joe just talked about prior. This UNGCNA event presents insights from international and national sustainability leaders to solve the most pressing challenges faced by Australian organizations today. In terms of the audience, the events program is tailored to the bespoke needs of Australia's C-suite, including chief sustainability officers, board members, and also emerging and future sustainability leaders. It will equip them with technical and actionable solutions to challenges at that intersection of net zero, nature positive, human rights, and governance. The conference will unite global and local business leaders, change makers, world-renowned sustainability champions to move beyond sustainability pledges to providing tangible, actionable solutions. So the program is online now. Registrations are open. Participants get a discount. And you can also contact us for group bookings, should that be of interest. So with that, let's just jump to the, I think, almost last slide. Very briefly, if you are interested in learning more about how to join the UN Global Compact and us on the country network level here in Australia, and or joining the SR COP, please either scan the QR code on the slide or click on the link that Farah will be sharing. Again, you get an email as well. You can also contact us, Farah and I, if you have more specific questions, and we are happy to assist. So if a presentation like this one today is of interest to your team, we can dive into more detail, present to your team internally. So please reach out. Now, the last slide is about questions that you have. I think something has come through. Let me just quickly double check from Bruce and Legend Corporations. Thank you, Bruce. What are the advantages of membership? Well, I hope I covered many of them, but I'll dive into more of this. Are there any commitments members have to make? So I'll start with the commitments. Thanks for these two questions. I love it. So when companies join, they submit a so-called letter of commitment signed by the highest level executive, in which they commit to aligning their operations and strategies with the 10 principles. The link to the 10 principles was shared earlier by Farah. Excuse me. I'm sorry. And you submit this commitment letter as part of your global application. So the global team does a quick due diligence check just to make sure that, you are an existing company. And then in terms of ongoing membership, businesses have one requirement each year, which is submitting a so-called communication on progress, which is a multiple choice questionnaire. There's no pass or fail, very important, in which you report to us on how you are going in advancing the Sustainable Development Goals and making sure that you're still aligned to the 10 principles. It's very important to say that we are not consultants, we are not a compliance tool, we are not a standard. So again, there's no pass or fail. We don't rank you, we don't tell you if you're doing well or not. You report to us so that we can benchmark the global business community's progress against the 2030 goals. These are the two requirements. To your first question about the benefits of membership, obviously, you've heard a lot today, but in summary, I would say there's three main reasons for joining and for making good use of membership. Addressing gaps. So as a business, you might be across some areas that you would like to get better at, you would like to progress in, and you come to us, utilize our offerings, and you learn, you connect. You have an academy that all staff have access to. You can set up learning plans. You can come to our online events, our in-person events, or hybrid events. The second component is the amplification of thought leadership. I mentioned that earlier. I'm looking into the wrong stream. So sorry. Amplification of thought leadership, which is within your organization, there might be people who are very knowledgeable, such as Lauren and Joe, who are happy to share what they are doing in their everyday work. There might be, subject matter experts that are willing to speak on a panel, be part of the conference, work on a publication. There's different ways of engaging nationally, regionally, globally. So that's the second component. And then thirdly, there is the peer learning and networking component. we bring businesses together in a cross-sectoral approach to basically enable to look at topics from different windows, if that makes sense, and to then talk about challenges, but also achievements. And in many cases, we do that under the Chatham House rule. So the Sustainability Reporting Community of Practice is under Chatham House. Our Modern Slavery Community of Practice is under Chatham House. And that is usually highly valued because it does enable more trusted conversations. So there is another question. Sorry, give me 1 second. I know we're almost out of time. Thanks for the update. Do you need to join both the as well as this? I can't quite, hold on. So in order to join the Sustainability Community of Practice, the SRCOP Reporting Community of Practice, you can either join us as members of the UN Network Australia, UN Global Compact Network Australia, and get free access to the Sustainability Reporting Community of Practice and our other Community of Practice, which is about modern slavery, or you can solely join the Sustainability Reporting Community of Practice without membership. Then you don't have exclusive access to specific events, but it doesn't mean that you can't attend anything else that we do. So a lot of our offerings are open to non-members, but often members get free access. Who are the existing members of the Sustainability Pool? I don't believe I can share this. Jeremy, I think you're on the call. Mary is asking, who are the existing members of the Sustainability Reporting Community of Practice? I'm not sure if we share this information, but it's a very colorful bunch of businesses from across Australia. I don't think we have any international attendees, but maybe correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. We don't. We have a mix, like a very diverse mix of participants that vary across industries, size, and reporting experience. We have about 200 participants from over 100 organizations currently. We have done a bit of research into their experience level, and it's about 70% Group 1, 20% Group 2, and 10% Group 3. But yeah, it is extremely diverse with, so many different levels of experience, and we've got every industry represented as well. So that really allows us to be able to have people talk to peers that are in the same boat as them. And that is something that we really try to focus on with our peer learning sessions, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. I really appreciate you helping out here. For anyone who would like to just stay in the loop, please subscribe to our bulletin. It's a monthly bulletin that has everything that's relevant here in Australia, but also regional and global opportunities for engagement listed. You can also jump on our website, look at our events page. As we are over time, maybe Neha jump to that last slide with the QR code. So if you would like to give us feedback, feel free to scan this QR code. I think it's also going into the thank you email. So if you reflect on what's happened today and would like to give us feedback later, please feel free to do so. Love to meet you all. Reach out to us if you have questions. We are happy to talk in person or online. And if we don't liaise with you before the summer break, then we hope that you have a wonderful festive season, a relaxing, restorative festive season before 2026 is here. And again, Farah and I will be your main points of contact for any questions about membership, the SRCOP, and any other offerings and activities we are offering you. So thank you very much again. Have a great day.